Hi folks, sorry about the issues with the projector this morning that I couldn't actually get it to display up there. So this is a quick video to show you how to use that Yoast SEO plugin that I was chatting to you about. So this is on a WordPress website. I've logged into the back end of my site and I'm in one of the blog posts, but it works exactly the same way on your pages. So what you would do is you would put your title in here as normal, and then your URL that's generated here automatically pulls from this title. So what you want to do is try and make sure that your keywords are as close to the beginning of this title as possible. So for example, if I was trying to optimize this particular post for the word 12 steps, then it would be perfect. If I wanted to have the keyword phrase that I'm optimizing for be optimized post, I would actually maybe make it the perfectly optimized post, 12 steps. So you can play with it like that. Then in your actual content here, this here is an H1 heading. You can tell that because you see this bar here, it tells you that it's an H1 heading. And if you drop down, you can see that you've got all of the various headings that are available to you. So you want to make sure that your keyword phrase is inside that H1 heading. And you also want to make sure that that keyword phrase is in the first, ideally the first sentence of your content, as close to the front of your first sentence as possible. And then try and have it once or twice throughout the post or throughout the page, so that you've got a good keyword density. The other things that you want to make sure you have is here is outbound links. You need outbound links to other sources, and you need inbound links to your own website. So one thing I would like you to remember, if we just have a look at this specific link, it's an external link. If we click to edit it, we want this button here ticked to open the outbound link, something that's going to a different website than yours. You want that to open in a new tab. If it's links to inside your own website, then that isn't necessary. Here we have another H2 on the page. Remember that I'd said that if you only have one H1 on a page, and then your H2s come underneath your H1s, your H3s underneath your H2s. Then what we're going to do is have a look at this Yoast plugin. So Yoast appears here underneath your content. Depending on how your website works, you might have a few other bits and pieces in between, but it will be there. If you've installed it and you can't see it, what you need to do is come up to, if you scroll up to the very top of the page, here's this little doofy dangle called Screen Options. And if you open it up, this little box here that says Yoast SEO might not actually be ticked. So make sure it's ticked, and then you'll scroll down and you'll see your little Yoast SEO box there. So for Yoast, what we have the ability to do is you see that we've got this great little example here of exactly how a search result would look, and Yoast has styled theirs to look like a Google search result. So this is what your title will look like if you leave it alone, but you can change it here. And we can change it to optimized post, 12 steps. And you can see how Yoast is telling me if it's not, if it's too long or too short, etc., etc. And then here is the keyword that we've got in there. This is the slug that I'm talking about, the slug that you stay away from. If you change this URL actually changes, so leave that alone. And then here you can write your meta description. So there, our keyword is perfectly optimized post, and it's coming up in the first few words. And then we end off with a call to action, read more. So we're telling people what they need to do. So that is the one section of Yoast that is hugely, of benefit. This one, the readability, remember I told you that sometimes it's not the easiest thing to really keep to this, because you really have to have very simple writing. So you can use it, maybe if you agree with what it's saying, you can make changes. The other thing that is very useful is here, where you can specify for Facebook and for Twitter, if you're going to post the links, what description and what image it will actually pull through from the page. The one thing that it is important to note is that if you've already shared this to Facebook, changing it here won't change what is on Facebook. You actually have to go delete that post and repost it again for it to show up differently. And then remember, I mentioned something about not showing up in Google results. If you've got a page that you don't want Google to look at, this is where the meta robots are controlled. So by default, it tells Google, index this page, look at this page. You can change it to no index, which means don't look at the page, and robots, no follow. Okay, and that is really the only thing that you need to worry about there. So once you've changed all of those Yoast things, remember to press the big blue update button, otherwise nothing will change. And once you have, you'll be able to see what kind of SEO score your site gets. So that's just a quick overview of the Yoast SEO plugin for WordPress sites. And if you've got any questions, you know exactly where to find me.